recording this. It's going live. You have to be in the technical world, and we're live. Okay, good. Hola. So a good opportunity to subscribe to the YouTube channel and click something that says notifications, because I didn't send out an email that I was going to do this today. And I'm coming back from my trip with my family and a huge transformation through the Rose of Venus and through the eclipse and all of these different things that are going on right now. So make sure that you check out the spiritual weather report and the multidimensional meditation each week that tunes you into the energies we're going through right now, how to optimize them, how to understand what you're feeling, how to use it for your highest good, and walk through something that might seem very, very difficult. Mars energy is in retrograde. That means that that sense of maybe war with yourself or conflict or feeling that you need to exert your power over or feeling stuck, of blaming others, that outward energy of the masculine can be brought in. So if you're seeing this flare up in your relationships, if you're seeing this flare up within you towards yourself or towards those you love or towards something that you have done or been, then take that energy and ask to scale it up to a divine masculine energy, okay? Because Mars isn't just the god of war. It's the divine masculine, the definition of it, and it has degrees. It can go to power over and violence, and it can go to and conflict, and it can go into holding space as the divine masculine. We're all given an opportunity. When Mars is in retrograde, it comes within us. It is inside, like subconscious. And there, are you stirring up right now a lot of fear and conflict with yourself? Are memories coming up about where you've been, what you've done, what kind of things maybe that feel frustrating to you, that you feel stuck, that you want to fight, that you want to change, that you want to make something happen? And so really pay attention, watch for where any of these energies are coming up, and then step into being, how about we bring that energy? It wants to act. It wants to express. Bring that into expressing, accepting, and in beautifully, clearly, in a very powerful way, take that energy and let it lift your intuition, your self-expression, your creativity up. The divine feminine. They're supposed to work together. And sometimes it feels like you're more in one than the other. But that's you. The other one's always working underneath. There's a shift and a change. So we had an eclipse, and our moon, our sacred feminine, eclipsed our sun, our ego, our personality, our light, our masculine. And it separated us long enough for us to break some bonds of identity that were keeping us stuck. We're now between those two eclipses, and the next one is going to be the sun eclipsing the full moon. And your full moon is your sacred feminine or your emotion or your deeper subconscious, your yin. And so now it's going to be the other way around. You're going to be eclipsed, separated. There's going to be darkness between you. You're going to be overwhelmed with your personality or your light or your growth. How is that going to come through you? How can you take these energies and say, oh, instead of letting it explode or make me feel bad about myself or whatever could happen, what if you start now tuning into potential future paths that already exist in your field that you could choose that marry those energies in a beautiful way? The eclipses, this is the last eclipse coming up on November 8th. There's also other things happening on that day. There's a Mercury and the sun, so your communication is going to be filled with light and power, a lot of downloads. So I highly recommend you start tuning your light body, you tuning your senses so you can start receiving these higher and higher frequencies. So intuition is super important. Psychic development, intuitive development, trust of self, cleansing yourself of old mindsets, emotions, patterns, DNA positions that don't need to be there anymore. You've completed a very long journey. We all have. Now we're in the meltdown phase, so we can start to be reborn in a few years and become the phoenix, become the butterfly, become something we've never seen, we've never experienced before. So it's a beautiful time to use your intuitive gifts. And one thing that we love are oracle cards or tarot. I am more fond of the oracle cards. However, I do find tarot in different forms. I have a cat tarot and I have the traditional tarot, and different ones can be very informative if you understand different ways to read them. So what we're going to be doing today is drawing a card from Beyond Lemuria by Izzy Ivy. And I don't know if you're familiar with her. It's through Blue Angel Publishing. I couldn't recommend these more, and I have barely used them. Just the images, the artwork alone is so profoundly aligned with what I teach, what I believe, what I experience, what I see, that I can barely get past one card. If the artwork in a deck appeals to you, go for it. If the artwork kind of repulses you or you're not sure, then take a step in a little bit further to find the decks. These are basically just forms. These are channels of communication, and they're fun. And the more you learn to interpret them, not so much by the book, although sometimes it's important to understand the intention of the book or how the process or the artwork in this case is also the author. How this information came through and to her was of great interest to me. But if I get an angel card deck, I may not read anything about what to do, how to do it, or even the card definitions. However, I like to intuitively read the card. Okay, so let's take a sample of this so you can start to tune into this. Like I said, this Izzy Ivy lady is a, see here, she's the artist, okay, and she wrote it, text and images, okay, Blue Angel Publishing, and I got it on Amazon. So it is divided, this particular Beyond Lemuria deck, since I've never used it before, especially here. We're going to kind of look at it real quick. This shows you how it's divided. She has 10 chakra cards. I think this is a very cool idea. She has elemental cards. Here, seed cards, quite a few of those. And that's it. So those 3 sections. And so clearly you don't know exactly what her intention with the chakra cards is, but you do know the chakras. Okay, so I'm going to show you a few of these. Remember that we are in this really great time right now where we're between the worlds. The veil is thin. That means the energy between us and those who aren't in body anymore, maybe your grandmother or your cat. Maybe it's you in other lives. Maybe it's you mentors that exist. Maybe it's nature spirits that want to talk to you. There's a lot going on right now, and all the different cultures understood the power of this moment. So it's a great time for communication, but I want you to set up your sacred space first. So we're going to do that right now. And I have burned through already one during the spiritual weather report and the multidimensional meditation this morning, which I highly recommend you go do. We already burned through one whole stick of copal, but we will start another one. So we have all of these beautiful energies here with us. We have this light represented by our candle, and we have this sacred copal. So we call on Gaia and all the celestials, elementals, all the directions within, above, and below. And we call on our sacred ancestors of light and love and wisdom. And we call on the sacred copal to cleanse and clear us, to protect us, to open portals and vision within the darkness of our own shadows and any around us that are not for our highest good. I'm ready and willing and open and receptive to be a clear and open channel to my highest good and that which is optimal for me at this time. I'm ready and willing to accept the divine guidance that's coming through at this time, whether I feel, see, hear, and understand it in this moment or not. I'll take a deep breath in. I am the light, I am the light. There is no darkness within me. I walk through the light. I embody the light. Let the breath go and let the light cleanse you, body, mind, spirit, out through your emotional field. Now I want you to hold your hands on or over your heart. I activate my light body at optimal speed for me at this time, and I ask that my heart open to me, that I may enter, and that any guides, mentors, any ancestors, family, any energies in any time or space that are optimal for my highest good and healing, that are optimal for me at this time, to align with my true gifts and powers, to communicate more clearly and more deeply, to access inside knowledge, freedom, wisdom, and my own divine gifts, to understand, recognize, and realize myself. Take a deep breath in and let everything you've just declared fill that breath. Feel it expanding your heart. And now let it go. When it pulses out, layer by layer, through the mind, the cells, through the brain, through the emotion, through the building, through your body. I acknowledge this infinity healing chamber, the gold and silver cone of light above and below, the divine diva of healing, and the overlighting spirits and guides of my own divine path. I acknowledge that I stand between the worlds in this sacred space and ask for a clear connection to my higher self, my heart, my soul's blueprint and purpose, to Gaia, to my I am presence, and to my body intelligence. Take a deep breath in and put into that breath, I am a clear and open channel to my highest good, open and receptive. I now clearly receive the guidance that is optimal for me at this time. We walk through this sacred time and accept these divine gifts, these wands, these crystals, these pyramids, Bast and Jaguar, Sekhmet, Kuan Yin, Thoth, Buddha, sacred geometry, power of above and below. We accept who we are and amplify it. We walk in safe and sacred space. Relax now. Feel your heart. It's opening in layers. Those layers are moving out through you again. Opening, opening, opening. The meditation earlier was like a fan of feathers and multicolored feathers and peacock type feathers opening across the crown, the head, the third eye, over all parts of the body, the heart, throat, and just opening and opening in a fractal that never ended. So from this moment forward, you are in this sacred space. You are protected and aligned to what is optimal for you at this time. And what that means is that whatever I say or show you, you may receive a message in any moment, in any time, where you feel something speak to you, trigger you, physically, emotionally, mentally. Maybe it'll trigger a feeling, a memory, a thought. You then notice whether it is your inner guidance talking to you or it is your fear mind getting in the way of you receiving. So we're going to just spend a moment getting to know the Beyond Lemuria guidebook, and it's a really gorgeous, gorgeous artwork, very luminous, and very, oops, getting the cords there. It's full of sacred geometry. It's full of luminous essence, all kinds of symbols like the caduceus, the life force, feathers, wings, eyes. These all represent parts of our light body like chakras, movement of Kundalini, the eternal self. And I like to read cards that have a lot of these energies and colors and symbolism, because there we go. There is so much wisdom in here. So you can look at the guidebook and see this came forward. These came out during my Intuition Awakening class Saturday. And this came forward as one of my clients who's getting certified to be able to do this is having dragon energy come and be really a present, almost daily guide. She's learning to travel through the dimensions consciously. And here you see this woman with an open heart and this dragon almost coming out from her, spiraling like a fractal, opening its wings. It's got some third eye opening here, light colors of the chakra awakening, connection to the cosmos. So all of these things really spoke to what she was going through, what she had experienced in the guided self-scan that I'm teaching them right now. You can join us next year if you would like. You can start the Intuition Awakening now. Here's one called Mount Shasta. And if you're familiar, this is a place in California that's considered a very, very spiritual place in the mountains. So you see the light grids, you see the codes coming up out of it. Well, if you picked this, you might perceive information coming down, information going up, being a part of creating a network, a grid. Let's see what else we have here. Here's a beautiful one. This one's the Violet Flame. This is one of my absolute favorite tuning tools. It's in the shop for, I don't know, not much money, to cleanse with the Violet Flame. So you look at the number, okay, 52, that's a 7. What does the 7 mean? And then you can see this Violet Flame is an enormous amount of information in here. She's holding the Violet Flame, and her palm portal is a part of her crown chakra. So she's also, in the other hand, holding something coming out from an infinity spiral, right? And there's this, again, this winding up like a spiral. There's the vision in the eyes, these different colors. This almost looks like a wing, but I think it's more like, no, it's crystals across the bottom, red crystals, and they're emanating some kind of energy. So these are the kinds of energies, if these are speaking to you, that's why they're coming forward. So I'm just asking this deck to show us a sample that is a good example of what this deck is. Here's 24, which is a 6, or the 2 and the 4, or 24 may speak to you. Evolution. Well, I love this because we are in a very accelerated evolution. And I don't know, 10 years ago or something, I started reading scientists that were talking about how species are evolving faster and faster, therefore going extinct faster and faster. And it kept coming back to me that we're in the same cycle. And now people can see it. Everybody can. So evolution, you have the DNA spirals and light coming from the infinite and this blossoming into who you are, right? This mermaid energy, like coming out of your emotion, your water energy. There's the star fish here. They're super powerful, sacred geometry in a starfish. And rising out of the seas of creation, empowering yourself with your emotions instead of being dragged down by them. And you can see she's rising up. Everything is coming up, creating and multiplying. So this may answer some question in your life right now. All right, a couple of more that we're going to look at before we pick ours for the day. Journey to Wholeness. So I have actually picked this one already. When I first got these, I was visiting, and I would lay in bed with them and look at one and then fall asleep with it imprinted. So this is 33, which is a master number, and Journey to Wholeness. So if you take a look at this, It's almost like she's underwater. She's the lily that's coming up to the surface, right? She has her heart open, her hair and down from her almost look like an octopus. Then they look like tails or arms, just so many in all the chakra colors. And they're coming from her heart, they're coming from her palm portals, which is part of her crown. There's a star and a third eye and the lily coming out from the crown up. And in my scale of consciousness that I give you, if you'd like my version of it, I've added and changed a few things from the original David Hawkins version. Thank you, David. However, I have it so that you, at acceptance, you pop above the water. Everything else, even though some states, willingness and courage, and these kind of states that are right below acceptance, they are a power state. They are helping you versus dragging you down. But this under the surface, that how much of you is growing and expanding, how much of you is anchoring into your truth, right? Here, so much here. And again, then every time it's chosen, it would depict or answer something in a different way. So energy, developing your intuition is so important because you then don't, of course you would come up. Oh, my beloved. You don't have to take everyone else's word for it and feel confused, right? You want to go deeper. So this is one that I picked early on, like maybe the second night I went to bed with this deck, and I picked a card to look at as I fell asleep and sleep with. And, okay. Here you go. And look at this, trust your innocence. 54, which is a 9, which is often completion, right? We are also in the 9th level of consciousness or evolution, which is unity consciousness. So trust your innocence. For you, I don't know, but this really is a big trigger for me, a big thing. And I went through a period of time when my daughter had died and many things had fallen apart and life wasn't what I thought. And I was trying to find my way and without knowing anything about spirituality. And I decided I had lost my innocence, my ability to be joyful, childlike, and happy. And I have slowly recovered that, and I don't believe that anymore. However, when I got this card, it was very profound for me because of different things happening in the moment. I was visiting my family, and look at her. You know, white lilies just blooming from the heart and the higher heart near the throat and the star above and coming out, and just the beauty that is growing from her and that she's surrounded with. And it's flowing from her crown into her palm portals, which are all part of the crown chakra. So it's an awakening of the crown chakra in many ways. And I have here this beautiful white lilies now. Isn't she wonderful? Okay, let's do one more. Oh yes, I keep getting this one, so I'm glad you showed up. 46, star seer, seer. I'm really playing with this word being the perfect word for my certified students, and it's has a bad connotation in some realms. So I'm really curious if we're past that, because the seer is somebody who can see between the worlds, who has their third eye opened, their crown, they're connecting their feathers more and more, they're letting their pineal become more and more of an antenna. All of these feathers are awakening to spirit, and then the third eye manifests into the world. You can see this ability to bring back into your hands, into your grasp, climb to the stars, to explore the Akasha, to exist between the worlds, and it's a 10, which is a 1. Okay, so beautiful, beautiful cards, as you can tell. Now, I am going to tell you that I've already picked the card because it is just not possible to not discuss this card, and it is the card on the cover of the book and the box, and it has continued to mesmerize me. It has reflected the way that my students are feeling. I have seen this, so much of this happening energetically for my intuition students and my clients, as they unburden themselves from the old beliefs and they start realizing that they are a part of a flow, that they are the light, they are that eye. When the tube torus is formed, when the two spheres come together, that central place, then there was light, is you. And you have a constant, never-ending channeling in of all these different energies and codes spiraling through your central channel and out and back around. So you are everything, you are infinite, you're constantly fed with these energies. And me, they go up and they go down. And you have been separated from believing that you're supported, that you're guided, that you're fed with everything you need in every moment. But when you start to develop your intuition and trust yourself, then you can tune into that. So this card is truly stunning, in my opinion. Let me see if I can position my camera so I don't have to hold it, but you can see it, because it's much more interesting to look at it than to look at me. So what I want you to do is relax. I've already brought you into this space, connected you to what's optimal. You're receiving information, you're downloading communication right now already, whether you're aware of it or know it or not. And it doesn't matter if you consciously are aware of it. So keep that in mind always, okay? All right, now let's see if I put it here. Oops. Thank you, darling. All right, that's not close enough. So let's see if I put it here. Give you a different perspective. This is something I teach my intuition students, by the way. Change perspective, even in your own vision. All right, looks like we're getting it here. I can't see it much myself. Don't know if you can see it very nicely there. Let me try something else. So the lady who made this is Izzy, and she seems to have a lot of ideas, a lot of connection with the Lemurians, and she's witnessed their way of life and their environments, and it inspires her art. And so this is what we would call a lost civilization, or an ancient civilization that, like Atlantis, had an evolved race of beings. They had a moment where they were very connected to the power of the crystals. And those crystals are still in the earth, whether they're where they began or they were mined like this one and filled and then somewhere in the ocean probably, or buried. And they, like Atlanteans, reached a level of very high consciousness, and then the cycle came to an end, and they didn't want it to end. And so they started to misuse their power and their wisdom and their knowledge. So this is kind of something that seems to happen, because the cycles say it's time for somebody else to be in power. And often people try to be in power that don't really. Okay, I hope that this is a good view of this. Seems kind of washy. Let me see. So what I loved about the idea of this is, I'm going to have to play with how to show this to you in a better way. That seems to be the best so far. See if I can do it this side. Thank you for hanging out with me to try to figure this out. Oh, good. So this card is called Our Ancient Future. It's number 39. And I love that idea because we know we are connected to our past, to our ancestors, the ancient wisdoms of the sacred sites, the mystery schools, and things that are being discovered now because we are raising our consciousness to be able to see and hear more. So this is intending to bring wisdom, this deck, from the realm of Lemuria, a magical place infused with abundance, life force energy, fertile lands, lush rainforests, crystalline waterfalls, and beings who so gracefully dance with the tides of nature and the ebb and flow of life. This is from Izzy Ivy, Beyond Lemuria Guidebook. There's no scarcity, as all that is required can be created at will. In essence, Lemuria is an elevated state of being, a dreaming that sees beyond the dream. Lemuria is the knowing of the universe and all her stars, the all that came before and ever will be, the iridescent shimmer of remembering what we came here to do, the awakening beyond the veil of the mundane, the journey back to wholeness in honor of every part of who we are. This is the unfurling back to our hearts, the sovereign incarnation, the interconnectedness of existence. This is home. So I talk like this. All right. I really resonate with what she's bringing through. For me, this is resonating with both the intention, the understanding of this wisdom, and how we can bring it in. So our card today is our Ancient Future, number 39. I want you to start to really look at this. You have a yin and a yang here that's connected through this heartbeat. Okay. Intuitively, if we read this, of course, look at the flow. These are codes pouring down into her head, her crown, which is shining, which is activating her third eye, which is pointing directly into her. This is the descending God. This is the receiving. And this is what your tube torus looks like. It's streams of energy that come in and begin to spiral through you. Then she's got showing it into hair, which is often your intuition or your antennas, into the colors of the chakra. So showing you that this is coming in through the crown, activating your inner eye, and then flowing through every other chakra in your being. We see that this spiral is coming in from the infinite field, full of all colors, all of the creation. And we see that this here, these wings are making sure you can see it. These wings are often what is depicted when you have a crown awakening. It's the top of the caduceus. The two snakes are your yin and yang. They're your masculine and feminine energies. They're stored with your codes for who you are, who you could become in your root. And when they wind up the spine, they grow, they expand, they interlink. They create this flow that comes up and opens the third eye, which then frees the crown, and a feathers or wings come out. Okay. You can see that she's being the creator, and she's connecting the ancient and the future. And this is what I love about what I do. This is what my beloved mentors and mystery school teachers and shaman and others have taught me, is we are this channel. If you know what a tube torus is, your reality is a Vesica Pisces or a eye shape like this, because of two spheres that interlock, masculine and feminine, yin yang, whatever, okay? Many different ways to explain it. Inside of that, the energy comes in from the infinite, spirals through you and out, and you are constantly in flow. So you are the creator. She has here her palm portals again. These are parts of your crown. They have released this sphere. This sphere happens after you use your palm portals a while. You start to feel this sphere of light here. It draws energy in or takes energy out, and you create. So she's creating that. You have this beautiful spiral that is both ancient Greek, it's ancient Mayan. You see this here? Connecting us to our ancestors. These little spheres and bubbles right here are holding different symbols, different codes, different sacred geometry. And so this is more information. More information is all around you, is within you. All right? This is growth, and this is almost like the ancient energies under the sea, still holding the grace of balance and your pearl, your wisdom. You are here to be the channel of what's coming through you now and to connect what is here for you. Then you step into your fully funded mission. Then you begin to live from being in the flow and being the unique conduit and channel for you to have these different experiences that come from your uniqueness. You're fed from the infinite field. You begin to create. You stay awakened and in this world. You stay connected to all this information and to the ancient wisdom. Above and below, within and without, you are the key to our ancient future. And this is what we're creating on the planet now. So it's an incredibly beautiful card. Now I'm going to share with you for a second a little bit from the book. Again, intuitive readings, I do prefer to really trust, right? Trust yourself and what this does for you. The first thing I saw were these codes coming into her head, and I'm like, that's exactly the way it is. This is what I see. And then I'm having clients and students who actually say they feel this way. So I've pulled this card out at least twice in class and said, is this how you felt? Yes, exactly. So this idea of being the future and being rooted in the ancient past is really profound for me. I have been drawn to ancient Egypt, ancient Greece, ancient Maya, ancient Anasazi, and other parts of the US, and England, to Stonehenge and Avalon, and to the Parthenon, and to Delphi. And I know so many of my lives, not all lives were epic, but yeah, I was an oracle at Delphi. I was these different things. And this is exactly the energy of what I see, sense, and feel happening for me and my students and clients right now. And the fact that she's embodying this is really profound. Now, this is called a Lemurian seed crystal. It has these ridges here. And it's a seed crystal because it was not found attached to something. It was found laying in the dirt. I forget where, somewhere in the mountains somewhere, and they found a lot of them that clearly somebody had left. And this is a communication crystal. It's not glamorous, but when you work with these vibrations, these ridges here, it lights up. And this I've had for many years. I got through someone who came to present about crystals through my mentor, Alton. And he's been showing up a lot lately. Thank you, Alton. The veil is very thin. He popped in during my class when I went to the bathroom. So this is a part of, I don't know if you can see it. Oh, okay. This is a part of, I believe, one of the reasons that this deck drew me to it. I've been very tuned into Atlantis, to Thoth being a part of Atlantis, to the history and the deeper understanding of Atlantis. And Lemuria, I never discounted. It just was never prominent. And I had this come through to me many years ago, and I had a book come through to me. And other than that, it's been quite a while until this is coming. So I find this is a very interesting. So this is part of what is written in the booklet here, Our Ancient Future. The keywords are wisdom from indigenous peoples, ancestors holding the keys for the future, ancient remembering, all of these, bloodlines, how the past affects the future. So there's the spiral, right, of a circle of life, and a time to step up, timeless power symbols are all over in here. Activations for power shifts. So an ancient remembering is emerging, and many of the seed crystals and the knowledge they are imbued with are becoming unearthed. All those who can see a better future are not just dreaming. Their hearts and minds are hearkening to the core of earth-based traditions to bring through knowledge that will help shift this paradigm into balance. So it says that the ancient Egyptians, the Mayans, the Inca, the Tibetans, the Maoris, the indigenous Australians, and Hopi, I would say Anasazi, and are just examples of these ancient knowledge keepers of earth and ethers that have been holding the key for a new world. And I really, really believe that. I resonate with that. I find that extremely empowering because it's truly a part of my belief system. I really feel, try to get some more light on me here. I really feel that this is a time of that. And that's why I've been leading retreats to sacred places, to the Maya here, to the land and the earth and the ceremonies and the wisdom of the elders and everything. So there you go. I hope that answered some things for you. Enjoy this week. Enjoy this moment. Be sure that you watch the spiritual weather report and do the multidimensional meditation to help you go through and access the highest level of optimal energies for you at this time. And take a look for Izzy Ivy at Blue Angel Publishing. Beautiful deck, beautiful. Okay, everybody, namaste. Lots of love.